I know everybody a go like. I know everybody a go like. Success don't come overnight. No matter know a substance over hype. Do it for the love, we not do it for the life.
What's good? Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real. I'm live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Keeping It Real is your go-to show for personal and professional development, diving deep into fitness, public speaking, and sometimes real estate. I appreciate you joining me today, whether live or on the replay. And if you are watching live, please say hello because it's a live show. Let's connect. This isn't just a show. It is the start of a growing community. Together, we can build a space where like-minded individuals can connect, learn, and grow personally and professionally. What's your next personal or professional hurdle in your journey? Comment below and let's kick this journey off together. Hello, I'm Jason Harris, and I'm unofficially the fittest commercial real estate professional south of Boston, but maybe not this far south. Also known as Coach FitPro J, your diet-free fat loss specialist. I'm the coach who talks the talk and walks the walk. I've been there, done that, and now I empower real estate professionals and entrepreneurs to take control of their nutrition and fitness without feeling overwhelmed by keeping it simple, keeping it moving, and keeping it real. Welcome to the weekly live broadcast, Keeping It Real. I really am going to work on that intro video one of these days. Got to set some time aside. Anyhow, I got another random rant. You know, I missed CLCon, Communication and Leadership Conference 2025, what I've been talking about the past two episodes, if you haven't seen them. So I'm going to tell you the story real quick. So I set off shortly after 8 o'clock, about 8:15 or so, to head out to CLCon. You know, I got a little bit of a drive ahead of me, about 45 minutes or so, and I'm driving down the highway, just got on the highway, driving down the highway, then all of a sudden, get a flat, so I pull over at the next rest area, which would, thank God, was like right there. It was perfect timing for that. Anyhow, so I pull in, and then I look at the time, like, oh man, it's completely flat. So the car that I drive, it doesn't have a spare. They don't do that, but there's a compressor, so I hook up the compressor and, try to pump up the tire. It only goes to like 20 PSI. It needs to get to like 35. It's like stuck. So then I turn the compressor off and I hear air coming out of the tire. And then I can see where it's like a slice in the tire, in the bottom of the tire. So yeah. So anyway, I couldn't get towed to just any dealership. It had to go back to the dealership to get the tire. So call up AAA. AAA gets called. And right now, at this point, it's about 8:25, 8:30. And wait for AAA, and I'm going to accompany the driver, to the dealership because, hopefully the dealership just puts it on and I just carry along my way, the rest of my day, maybe make it to CLCon, the rest of it anyway. And so about 5 hours go by, 1:30, right? Because it was about 8:25, right? When they got called. They even sent me the little map and it shows you your location and you're supposed to click submit to make sure that, they know where you are. And, I click submit and it said, thank you for letting us know where you are. Your tow is on the way at some point. I'm like, all right, cool. But anyway, 5 hours go by. No one shows up, nothing. So I called AAA back up and they said, oh, we don't have anyone coming out. Oh, so I had to go through the whole thing again, the whole rigmarole of it all, right? And, it's going to be about an hour and a half because they're all busy down at the Cape now. And I'm like, oh man. All right. So I wait another hour and a half. So anyway, I end up getting picked up at 4:10, just after 4 o'clock. So I was at that rest area for about just short of 8 hours. Now I learned a few things that day. This was Saturday, by the way. Learned a few things. First thing I learned is they actually have rest areas that don't have restrooms, if you can believe it. A rest area with no restrooms. So I learned some creative ways in the 8 hours that I had in that rest area, to use a restroom, if you will, outside somewhere. So anyway, number one, not number two. Anyway, TMI. So The other thing I learned is that there are only 14 BMW dealerships in all of Massachusetts, and I was really far from one of them. So that I miss CLCon. That's more than a rant, a little bit of story, but that's what happened to me. So I miss CLCon and had an experience Saturday. On to today. Today we're starting with, let's get with the show, right? So today we're starting with the Core 4 of Networking segment. After that, from Stagefright to Spotlight, the public speaking segment of the show. And then we'll get into fitness success, the 4 pillars of achievement. And then we'll finish up with Real Estate Roundup. Okay, so let's get started. The Core 4 of Networking. The Core 4 of Networking. Networking is an essential skill in both business and professional and personal development. In the Core 4 of Networking segment, I break down the key practices for building strong, lasting relationships. Do you know about the Core 4 of Networking? Have you ever heard of it? Can you tell me what they are? Here's a short clip that'll get you up to speed on what they are. What's up? I'm here with Al to give you guys another networking tip. We've given you 3 so far, and today we're going to give you a 4th. But before we do, let's recap. What's the first thing they got to do, Al?
Show up.
You got to be present and accounted for. What's the second thing?
Be yourself.
You be you, your authentic self, because nobody likes fake people. Not a good look. What's number 3?
Pay attention.
You got to do some active listening. You got to know what's going on. You don't want to stare into somebody's eyes and nod your head thinking about what you got to say next. Pay attention. And now that the recap's done, I think the 4th one's the most important. What do you think, Al?
Oh yeah, there's no point in doing all 3 if you don't do the 4th.
That's right. So why is the 4th so important now?
Because the fortune's in the FU.
What do you mean?
Fortune's in the follow-up.
Ah, that's right. Follow up. Don't have a conversation with somebody, take their business card, and then do nothing. Follow up. Speaking of following up, if you guys would like to hear more networking tips from Al and myself, comment more or yes, please underneath this video. And Al, what are we going to do after they make that comment?
Follow up.
Haha, that's right. See you guys later. All right, now that you're up to speed on the Core 4 of Networking, I'll be breaking down the Core 4 1 week at a time. Week 1, show up, why simply being present can open doors to success. Week 2, be yourself. Authenticity is the key to forming genuine connections. Week 3, pay attention. The importance of active listening and being fully engaged with others. Week 4, follow up. How to maintain and grow relationships beyond the first meeting, probably the most important one. What's the most significant networking hurdle that you have faced? And how did you tackle it? Or you're still trying to get it done? Let us know. Please share your biggest networking challenges and how you've addressed them, or if you're still working on them, in the comments. In addition to exploring the Core 4 of Networking, this segment will also showcase local members of the networking organizations I'm affiliated with, as well as other businesses and professionals in my network. I'll also provide insights on local networking events that I attend. This Monday is week 1, so tonight's topic is show up, why simply being present can open doors to success. Speaking of showing up, I want to take a moment to share 2 local networking events that I'll be showing up to. First up, Industry Leading Professionals is a zero-cost South Coast, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island, 1 seat per profession virtual referral group. We meet on the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays at 9 a.m. via Zoom. Come and join us for Virtual Visitors Day, Tuesday morning. Tomorrow, not tomorrow if you're watching the replay, by the way, but Tuesday morning, tomorrow now, via Zoom at 9 a.m. Come and check out what our meeting is all about. All you have to do is message me or on whatever platform you're watching me on, and I'll send you the Zoom link. See you on Zoom tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. But wait, there's more. If you didn't get enough of me on tomorrow's Zoom, you can also join me again Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. Well, technical difficulties. And you can see me here. All right. I'll be at this professional networking event hosted by Old Colony Business Alliance. This event takes place at New York Life, 2 Lakeshore Center, 2nd floor in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. I heard that they're having a guest speaker talk about how to network. I wonder who that could be. I hope to see you there. Hope to see you there too. All right. Next Monday is week 2. So the topic will be yourself. Authenticity is the key to forming genuine connections. Until then, show up, be yourself, and pay attention. But most of all, follow up. If you've got a story to share and you want to be a guest on the show, reach out. I'd love to have you on. Seriously, let's do this. And if you catch me at a networking event, don't hesitate to pull me aside and let's make some on-camera magic happen. All right, next up is, well, that's not next. Next up is from Stagefright to Spotlight, our comprehensive public speaking segment designed to help you master this crucial skill. Whether you're speaking to a large audience or just in front of a small group, maybe it's your networking group. This segment of the show will give you the tools you need to shed the stage fright and step confidently into the spotlight. This segment of the show will also have guest appearances from some of my fellow Toastmasters. And if you don't know what Toastmasters is, I'm going to tell you now. Toastmasters International is a nonprofit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. I belong to the Spirited Speakers Club out of Middleborough, Massachusetts, and we currently meet virtually on the 2nd and the 4th Wednesdays of every month. Stay tuned because at the end of this segment, I'll show you how you can visit my next virtual Toastmaster meeting. On today's From Stage Fright to Spotlight, I have a guest joining me. Now, today's guest, she didn't just step into leadership, she blueprinted it. Architect of ideas, doctor of management, and keynote force of nature. Let's get into it. Stand by. Today's guest, she's not just in the spotlight, she built the stage. She's a distinguished Toastmaster, an award-winning thought leader, a TEDx speaker, and there's Toastmasters International Board of Directors keynote speaker for Communication Leadership Conference 2025. She's also a doctor of management, a master of architecture, and someone who talks about leadership, belonging, and AI like it's her second language. It's my first time speaking with her, and I already feel like I need to up my game. Let's bring her out from backstage. Please help me give a warm welcome to the phenomenal Dr. Farzana Chohan. All right, how are you doing, Doctor?
I'm doing well, Jason. Thank you. And hello, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. All right, so you've served in Toastmasters at some of the highest levels. For those tuning in who aren't yet familiar with the international leadership structure, can you give us a quick breakdown of what it means to be an international director and what your role in Region 5 looks like?
Interesting question. So international director's role is one of the higher leadership role in a global organization. We are in 140 countries. An international director means that we are part of the ambassador team to advance the speaking and leadership skills of our members all around the world. It is not the formal description of this role, but this is what we do in an essence for our job. We help members grow and develop themselves as the best version of themselves as human beings.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So you at home, if you're a Toastmaster watching this, drop your club name and region in the comments. Let's see who's representing. All right. Now let's talk about your upcoming keynote at Communication and Leadership Conference 2025. The theme is belonging within Toastmasters. Such a powerful topic. Can you give us a sneak peek into what we can expect from this keynote? What inspired that theme?
Belonging is something as a concept which I have started as I struggle with. I come from a different background, from a different part of the world, and being a female from patriarchal society, I thought that it's women who feel excluded as a gender. with my lived experiences in life and in profession as an architect, I realize it is more of a human sense when we feel excluded, when we feel we are not part of a group, of a profession, of a family, of our institution, wherever we are, then we have an exclusionary feeling or an isolation. So the sneak peek about this keynote is that I have actually written a book on belonging work culture, because in a corporate world of architecture and in any other profession, we have different levels of team members, and some feel they are part of it, some feel they are not. But belonging is a universal feeling. It is studied and researched in psychology, and it is when you make someone feel part of it, part of your group, your organization, people are motivated and inspired to do more. And that is what I'm going to talk about. But I have written a book about it, belonging work culture, and I do give a lot of workshops and presentation on the topic of belonging.
That's what I'm talking about. You had experience firsthand, and then you wrote a book about it, even, and now you're speaking on it to help others out. That's awesome. I wanted to know, why do you think the concept of belonging is so important in the world of public speaking and leadership? I know you talked about corporate, and how does Toastmasters uniquely foster that sense of belonging, especially for people who feel they're still finding their voice?
You bring up an interesting point, and I feel like I'm going to give you my whole keynote, but also my life's story in that context. In Toastmasters, when people come to improve their speaking skills, it is not that we are trying to improve our speaking skills. We are trying to overcome the fear of judgment by others around us, and that is fear of judgment keeps us away from moving forward to whatever we are trying to achieve in our lives. And a lot of time I have seen my peers, even my own cousins, my relatives of my age group, who will not move forward, who will not advance, because they are so scared of being judged by others and critiqued by others. That is why I want us to, in an organization, help others and support others to overcome that fear of being rejected, being judged, and become better in speaking. It is not about that much about speaking, it is about communicating clearly and effectively. That is why, if for an organization of ours in Toastmasters, it is important to create that sense of belonging through support and through kindness, I will say.
No, that's awesome. It kind of it reminds me of why I personally joined Toastmasters, and this isn't about me, but you brought that up. I joined it so that I can, speak on camera without fear of being judged on online like this, like we're doing now. And Toastmasters has been a big part of that for me too. So it's funny that you said that. Follow-up question, and it's a serious one. If belonging were a dish at an international buffet, what would it be and why?
It will be a salad, a really well done salad of all different vegetables. And those of you who like fruits, maybe fruits also. And I learned this from another fellow Toastmasters who gave a contest speech, and he brought in all the ingredients, all the salad items, which has all the colors, red, green, yellow, orange in it, and with different types of dressings also. So add, if it is a dish, it is a salad which will serve everyone according to their taste and needs, but it will also be healthy for the health and living longer.
That's an awesome answer. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. A salad. I'm going to remember that. For those watching who've ever attended a communication and leadership conference, what makes CLCon 2025 so special? Why should Toastmasters and non-members absolutely make the time for this event?
Any gathering, and especially gathering around learning and development and fellowship, is important. So CLCon is going to achieve all of those features. It is going to provide the learning paths or learning channels where people can learn from different high level speakers. It will also provide a great opportunity to come together, get to know each other, because our districts tend to get larger and we don't know left hand from right hand. So when you come together and talk to the fellow Toastmasters and like minded people about what Toastmasters is about, but who they are, how they connect with each other at a personal level, at a professional level. That's what it will also do. Along with that, the relationships you will start building at CLCon will go lifelong for you. I am a testimonial of it. If it was not my first conference, which I would have attended, I would have not even thought about becoming a leader in Toastmasters. When I joined with the thought I will be there only for 6 months, and that was 2010. And I had no idea what it means beyond the member. It was just to overcome my fear of speaking. But here we are. It has opened up the doors and pathways for me, which I have not thought. I would have not written books. I would have not done my Doctor of Management if I have not attended my first international convention, and subsequently every convention and every conference I get an opportunity to. I really believe in it. This is not just to promote CLCon, but definitely come to CLCon, because that is where more avenues open up.
That is awesome. Well said. Well said. I talk about the core four of networking, and the first one is show up. So it's show up, be yourself, pay attention, follow up. And show up. That's exactly what you said. Show up. It's about networking as well. You're going to meet like-minded individuals that are trying to improve themselves as well. And, positivity and creativity like that, it's catchy. You want to be around those people. And this is a big event for that. And that's one of the major reasons I'm going, is to see other members that I otherwise wouldn't see and learn more about the organization, meet like-minded people. I mean, you got to go. I'm not even getting any money for it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to sell it. So I hear you.
May I add to this?
Absolutely.
Not only the relationships I have developed, but the mentors I gained. They gave me so much in terms of wisdom, knowledge, education, and friendship. So they were mentors at one point, then they became friends, and then they become best friends and a group of supporters and people who are there for you. It is an unintended consequence, but that is what we don't realize when we belong to something which has so much power at a human level.
Yes, it does. It's exciting. It gave me goosebumps just now. I can't wait to have a one-on-one with you as well. So in the audience, anyone out there been to a past CL Con? Anybody? What was your favorite part? Drop it in the comments and tag a fellow member that you want to bring this year, because I know you're going, right? You going? Okay. All right, so let's be real. Everyone watching has a moment of stage fright. Dr. Farzana, do you remember your first big speech? Nerves, flubs, or was it smooth sailing from day one?
I have been a successful professional, and I thought I have enough confidence that I can do anything. So I call it a self-inflicted wound. I volunteered for an international architects conference, and I said I want to introduce the panel. Everything was scripted. They gave me a 2 paragraphs typed on a piece of paper and said, "You just have to read this, okay?" Here I'm standing in front of 200 international architects in Washington, D.C. And I looked at the piece of paper and I couldn't read it in the first go. My feeling was I wanted a stage to open and I go in. It was such a feeling of embarrassment. And I have said this many times. Thank God I am brown, because I felt the heat rising from my feet to the top of my head and I turned red, but no one can see it. Okay, I did not faint it. I read the paragraphs, but I did not like my shaky voice, my lack of confidence in it. And that was the moment when I said, there are two options. Either I am a failure outside of my profession, or I do something about it. So I looked around. I did not want to go back to the graduate school. I have already paid enough money, which was which was not an option for me anymore. So I looked around and I stumbled upon Toastmasters. And that's where that previous comment I made, that I joined with an idea that it will be 6 months. How much more time do you need to improve your speaking skills? But here we are. So it has not been an easy path for me. I'm not on a path to become a world champion of public speaking. That is for other people. But I have gained so much confidence that I'm talking to you without any preparation, without any script. And that is what it has given to me, that I have been able to tame down my sense that I am being judged. I am being judged. We all judge each other, but at least I don't pay attention to it as much as I used to pay attention when. Well, there is more, but I will stop here.
No, that's, hey, you know what? For people to hear that someone like you at the level that you're at and where you're at in career and Toastmasters in life, I mean, that's huge to hear that, you started off just like them, shaky voice, scared, that sort of thing. You weren't just straight out of the gate. So there's something to be said about that. Go ahead.
One more thing. So I still get that butterflies a few times, and I have coached TEDx speakers. But when I was giving my own TEDx talk, it was like, oh my God, I still feel it. It is still real, that you can get overwhelmed and you can start like, oh my God, what am I doing here? But it is part of being a human, and it is a reminder of us also that we are not a super person in the world, superhuman.
No, thank you for that. So you still do get nerves. I know what you mean by that, but you get through it though.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what advice do you give to people who want to become stronger speakers, especially those in business or leadership roles?
So there is a difference. We talked about that. Do you want to become a public speaker, be on the stage, motivate, become a politician at a higher level, or just become a paid professional speaker? For them, the advice is that keep practicing, keep doing it, because the more you practice, the more you give those speeches or talks or conversations, or whatever your area of specialty is. Practice will make you stronger to do that. So I use Nike's slogan, just keep going, just do it. But on the other side of it, for people like myself who want to be in the leadership roles, who are in the leadership roles at whatever level, there is a different level of communication which requires both an effectiveness in your communication, but also emotional intelligence as part of your being. To lead is not just about give a talk, to give a speech. To lead is to lead a group of human beings in a way where they will be inspired to follow you. You cannot just order them to follow you, you have to inspire them. For them, keep practicing the communication skills by talking to people at one-on-one level, in a group setting, in a larger group setting, or to achieve deadlines. Leaders have to actually practice more than the people who want to be on the trail of paid speaking engagements. And I use that example for myself also. My other advice for leaders is that continue to improve your knowledge and set of skills which you have not imagined for yourself. So in the beginning, you alluded to artificial intelligence. I do not have a technology background, or I did not had a leadership knowledge background until unless I started my doctorate. And purposefully, I selected leadership as my main track on the management, and my doctoral thesis is on mentoring. So how do you mentor from the beginning until the end? And that is a totally different conversation. But my advice for leaders to continue to improve their skill sets, to improve their knowledge base, and to improve their communication skills along with emotional intelligence. And again, our organization helps in all of those tracks.
No, that was awesome. Thank you. So it sounds like the main thing for leaders to pay attention to or to strengthen their speaking is to actually do it. do it, right? You got to do those reps like in the gym to get stronger, for the muscles to get stronger. Well, if you want your speaking muscle to get stronger, you got to, use it.
Yes.
And then you mentioned emotional intelligence as well. That's something else. So it's about a few skills, and actually use those skills to make them stronger. And Toastmasters has definitely helped me gain some skills and some knowledge as well. All those things that you're talking about, as well as, guess what, the practice too inside the club meetings. So Toastmasters has it all. I also wanted to get into AI too, so let's do that. You also speak a lot about it, about AI, artificial intelligence, and human excellence. Do you see a connection between improving communication skills and adapting to an AI-driven world?
So for just like many of us, or a lot of us who have no technology background, I was putting it off on to this is technical world. They should better take care of it. I have nothing to do with it. But when you sit down and look at how much you are attached and actually glued to your digital devices and whatnot, AI is already in our lives. Whether we bank, whether we use financial institutions, they heavily use artificial intelligence to know everything about your financial situation. Likewise, healthcare is using a lot of artificial intelligence. But on the other side of it, now we have artificial intelligence or AI companions for people who feel excluded, who feel isolated, whether it's older demographics of our grandparents or parents, or it's the younger demographics who cannot find friends. I'm not talking about a serious relationship. I'm just talking about finding your community, your friendships. Also, AI companions have come into being. So I have started seriously looking at it. That what is artificial intelligence from the common context of us? It is already in our lives. We have adapted it. We are using it, but we are saying no, and we are not accepting it. We are in denial that it is having an impact on us. It is having an impact on us. So knowing about what are the good aspects of artificial intelligence and what are not so good aspects of artificial intelligence, so that has put me on a journey to explore artificial intelligence and how is it mirroring human intelligence. HI is human intelligence. So because everything what artificial intelligence is doing is fed by us, is fed by human beings into them, which means what? We have given them all the most of the good qualities we have, but we have also given them the bad qualities we have, the old dated mindsets, the biases. We have given it to artificial intelligence, and there will come a point where artificial intelligence will have everything, all the data input, all the biases input in it, and it will be making decisions on our behalf, because we will treat it as an ultimate answer to all of our problems, just like we have given it to our parents or grandparents. Hey, I don't have time to sit with you. Your AI companion will do it. But then grandparents will start believing AI companions, and if it becomes a super artificial intelligence, then super artificial intelligence will be telling grandparents and anyone else who is using artificial intelligence that I am right. And we, at that point, we will totally give up our thinking power and decision making, and we will let AI be doing it. And that is a scary science fiction scenario, which is closer now to us in near future than we have imagined it first. So to summarize this whole long response is that AI right now is mirroring human intelligence, what we are giving it to it. But when it will take it over, then what will happen? Then our human intelligence will be actually just used by artificial intelligence, and it will be stagnant. I'll stop here. I'm sure I will be challenged by a lot of people who have a technology.
Hey, well, you know what? There are a lot of unknowns with AI, and a lot of them are scary. That's for sure. That's for sure. And what you're talking about, it's a whole rabbit hole we can go down, right? And there's different paths and whatnot. But I mean, you're right. HI, human intelligence, is feeding AI, like you said, with all the biases and outdated info, perhaps, or may become outdated. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll leave that one alone. But go
Also,
ahead. Yep.
one thing I will add to it is that right now we are at a point where we can come together, even if we don't have a technology background. As human beings, we can come together and make sure that the data and the information which is going into AI is corrected, is responsible, is ethical, and is for good to humankind, rather than becoming something which will become a science fiction movie, which we have seen 30, 40 years ago, and I don't even want to go what it will look like over there.
No, I've seen the Terminator. Kids don't know these days, but yeah, it is scary. We do live in a dystopian sci-fi world, it seems, and it's getting more like that. So let's shift gears here. Talk about mentoring. So you've mentored so many leaders through Toastmasters and your Optimized Excellence platform. What's one lesson or mindset shift you wish more professionals would embrace, especially when it comes to speaking up and standing out?
I have thought very deeply about it. It started from my professional background and patriarchy and gender. I was very much kind of living in my own world that it is one gender versus another gender. It is not. So I have come to a point that where my hope, my suggestion, my aspiration, my request, my plea to all the leaders in the world and everyone in the world is to look at each other with a human lens, treat each other as a human being. It is not any religious quotes I'm using, but if we want to feel valued, if we want to feel respected, then we have to give it to the other person also. This gives us an opportunity to grow together, to develop together, to make this world a better place at a human level. And that is what my suggestion is for all of us to follow. So the idea or the concept behind optimized excellence is that how we can uplift and move forward the human beings in our area of in our sphere of influence, for the lack of better term, and help support them, mentor them, and be mentored by them. So in mentoring, I the old concept that you are mentored by a wise, matured, older person, I will say it is a two-way street. We get older, wise, mature people also get mentored by the younger, wise people. I find them very intelligent, very thoughtful as compared to some other thoughts we have about younger generation. So be mentored by older generation and younger generation, and serve act as a mentor and mentee at the same time. Mentoring will also help in optimizing excellence in our world, so that we can reduce the gap between our thought processes and mindsets which have been dated for a long time in our world. It's time for us to transform it. Again, I want you, Jason, to remember I don't use the word change. I don't think change is the right word or a concept for us to use. We have come to this point, we cannot flip the coin and change things, but we can transform. We can become better. We can keep going. We can take the positivity, elements, positive aspects, and strengths, and make it better. And it is not only for us, but it is for optimizing excellence of the entire human community.
I love that mission. That's an excellent bit. We need more of that. Thank you for that. It's all I like to go through my sphere of influence and help out as many people as possible with what I know, and then I definitely learn things from everybody else as well. And it just brings everybody up, is what I think. And I think that's what your company's trying to do, correct?
Yes.
So I have one more question for you. You've achieved so much across continents and industries. When you think about your legacy, especially in Toastmasters, what do you hope people will remember the most?
That's a difficult question. Why I say it is difficult question, because I do not think in terms of my legacy. What I think is that, have I made someone's life better, even if it is one person? Have have I inspired them? Have I made them do better for themselves? That is what I want to remember. So if someone will say that I remember what Farzana told me once, or how Farzana advised me or mentored me, it has impacted my life for the better. That's what I want to remember. And I want to be remembered as a person who is always thinking about other people, who want everyone to be successful and happy in their own ways, whatever they decide to do for themselves. And that's what I want them to remember.
That is awesome. You're so my tribe. Dr. Farzana, thank you for sharing your wisdom, your warmth, and your excellent energy with us today. You know, you are living, breathing definition. You're the living, breathing definition of from stage fright to spotlight. And I know the audience is walking away inspired. I know I am. It has been a true pleasure having you on the show. You know, I hope to have you on again in the future. Do you have anything else you'd like to leave us with besides what you already did?
I want to thank you, Jason, for asking some very interesting and thought-provoking questions, uh, which have also helped me in thinking about what my life has been throughout. What I want to leave with for everyone who is listening to this conversation, I did not choose this path with a plan. It was accidental for me to come on this track. I did not had any long-term goal for myself that getting into an speaking organization would lead to so many influential areas of work, like impacting human lives, like thinking about how human beings can come together and what is the power of human beings. And that reinforcement has come to me, and it can come to any one of you who is listening to this. I would encourage you to choose a good path for yourself, not Toastmasters path, but a life path for yourself. Toastmasters path is also good, but life path for yourself, and try it and keep going. Eh, because good things will come to your way without any fear. Even if you think you cannot do it, it will come to you, because you can do it if you take one step at a time and keep going.
Yes, thank you for that. I appreciate you, and good luck on the keynote this evening. Oh, actually, today's Thursday. Good luck tomorrow, Friday. And for everybody that is going to go to CLCon 2025, I'll be there on Saturday. I'm going to try to make it Friday. We'll see. And then it runs all the way through Sunday. And I will also go ahead and put up the information for it. And thank you very much. And I hope to have you on the show again. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap with Dr. Farzana Chohan, a woman who doesn't just drop gems, she drops frameworks. From TEDx to Toastmasters, she reminded us that belonging isn't a bonus, it's a baseline. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, progress isn't perfect, but it sure sounds better when you say it out loud. Finally thinking of taking the next step? My next virtual Toastmaster meeting is coming up. The next meeting will be Wednesday, May 14th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to experience a virtual meeting and see what it's all about for yourself, comment Spirited and I'll share the link with you. Don't miss out. Again, comment Spirited and I will send you the meeting link. When you log on to the meeting, don't be scared. Feel free to sit back and observe from the sidelines, okay? We'll make you feel welcome, but participation is optional. No pressure, just relax and enjoy the experience. Hope to see you there. Next up, fitness success. The 4 pillars of achievement. Each week, I alone or with a guest will break down a specific pillar to help you build a balanced, sustainable fitness routine. Week 1, Pillar 1, nutrition habits. Master your nutrition and fuel your body for success. Week 2, Pillar 2, practical strategies for managing life's inevitable stressors. That's stress management. And then week 3, Pillar 3, physical activity. Tips to stay active and energized no matter your fitness level. Week 4, Pillar 4, recovery measures. Recovery is key. Learn the best ways to rest, recharge, and avoid burnout, both in and out of the gym. Today is the first Monday of the month, so our focus will be on Pillar 1, nutrition habits. Master your nutrition and fuel your body for success. Today, we're joined by Dr. Mia Holland, a true health warrior. She's a psychology professor, a top-producing realtor, a life coach, and a passionate advocate for holistic wellness. With experience presenting at Harvard Medical School and delivering a TED Talk on eating disorders, Dr. Holland brings deep expertise in mental health, nutrition, trauma, and resilience. Her journey of healing, including overcoming cancer holistically, is as powerful as it is inspiring. You won't want to miss this heartfelt and empowering conversation. Stand by. All right, joining me live today is someone who doesn't just talk the talk. She's lived the walk, run, sprint, and green juiced her way through it. Backstage is Dr. Mia Holland. She's a psychology professor, a top producing realtor, a certified personal trainer, and TEDx speaker, and someone who turned a cancer diagnosis into a powerful comeback story, fueled by purpose and a plant-based plan. Let's bring her out from backstage. All right, Mia, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hi there, Jason.
Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything?
You did not. You did not. Great intro. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So yes, thank you for being here. This is great. I've got to say, if multitasking mastery were a sport, you'd be wearing a gold medal and holding a green smoothie in one hand.
That is true.
Oh my. So you're a psychology professor, a top producing realtor, a personal trainer, like I said, a TEDx speaker, and somehow still found time to beat cancer and write your own comeback story.
That's right.
That's not just impressive. That's superhero status. Thank you for being here on this episode of Keeping It Real. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I love that superhero status. I've never said that about myself before, but I think I am going to now. I've typically said health warrior about this whole journey. Everything that you mentioned, though, you just sort of hit the nail on the head. So when I was born, I think the first thing I ever said or did was say no to everything. I was a no person. In most kids, that's an easy word to say. It's an easy thing to sort of pronounce as you're getting older. But I've always been a person who bucks the system, always. I'm always critical thinking, always looking outside of the box. I'm not a follower. I'm a leader by nature. And everything that you mentioned, all of the things that I accomplished up until the point of diagnosis and the personality that I have, those things allowed me to succeed through that journey.
No, awesome. I love your kind. We're the same tribe. What do you say that we start at the deep end of the pool? You got hit with a breast cancer diagnosis 2 days before Christmas. That's like getting coal in your stocking times 1,000.
Yes.
When most people freeze up or follow orders, like, we talked about, right? You paused, you questioned everything, and you chose to go holistic. What clicked in what clicked in you, okay, that made you say, nope, I'm doing this my way?
Yes. So part of it was personality. Part of it was, this is how I've operated my life, my entire life. It's my way or the highway. Just ask my family, ask my husband. It is my way or the highway. And the diagnosis came at a time when I needed a pivotal event to happen in my life to jettison me to the next level of healing, the next level of growth and development. I've always been a growth and development person my entire life. I've coined myself sort of a geek, but really it's much more than that. The the healing process sort of started for me a couple of years before that, when I had gone toward the holistic alternative route because of lack of help with migraines and insomnia for many years. And the traditional route was not helping me at all. And I kept thinking, there's got to be something else. There's got to be something beyond this that can help me. And I found myself a great holistic practitioner, was seeing him for the insomnia and the migraines, was seeing extraordinarily awesome results, none that I have ever seen prior to that in the traditional direction. And all of a sudden, that 2 days before Christmas, here comes this doctor with a file in his hand. He comes walking into the room. And I knew my husband, now husband, was my boyfriend at the time. And he was sitting in the corner. And the doctor came in, and I said, I already know what this guy is going to say. I could tell by his face. And there it was. He said, you are diagnosed with blank. And I call it blank, or I call it the C word, because I don't like to give it any identity or any power or any strength. It was simply a speed bump, a little blip, but it was a major life changer. So he said what he had to say, and I looked at him and said, no. I rejected it from the minute he said it. He said, okay, well, yes, but here's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to do all these crazy things: chemo, radiation, surgery, all of this crazy stuff. And I said, no. So we left the appointment, and my husband and I went to lunch. I kept my sunglasses on inside of the restaurant because at that point, I'm a crier. I cry if I'm happy. I cry if I'm mad. I cry if I'm sad. That's just me. That's how my emotion comes out. And I remember thinking, this is a pivotal event. Something is going to change here, but I'm going to be the one that's going to change it. And off in the distance at the restaurant, there was a young mom and a brand new baby and what looked like the grandma. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's brand new life over there. And I was just given what everybody knows, the C word, is a deadly diagnosis. And here I was at the time, only 45 years old. And everybody kept saying, you're only 45. We don't know why you were diagnosed with such a crazy disease. That's very young for this disease. So put that aside for a moment. I sat there eating my salad thinking, this is going to be a journey. And I'm going to take it full on, and I'm going to beat this. So I had called my holistic doctor, and he said, not a problem. We're going to fix this. I was in his office within 3 days. So right after Christmas, I went into his office and got the protocol. And I said, I will do, you tell me what to do, and I will do it. And I will do it 150%. And I did. So he gave me this protocol here, but I did this. I did everything and more. And we can get into that.
Overachiever. Oh, we will get into that. We will definitely. That's incredible. So far, got the diagnosis a couple days before Christmas, and then of course the traditional medicine says, oh, you got to do this, this, and this, and you say, no, I'm going my way. I'm going holistic. Contacted your holistic peeps, right? And then all of a sudden, that's where we're at. So and he gave you protocols. So I want to know though, at home, have you ever had to trust your gut when everything said otherwise? Have you ever? Drop it in the comments if you've ever gone against the grain to protect your health. I want to know for you guys out there. So
that's a really great question for people. That's really a great question, because throughout the journey, people kept saying to me, gosh, you're so brave. You're so brave. There was not one iota or ounce or speck of doubt from the beginning. I never said, should I? Shouldn't I?
You just knew.
Not once. Not once. In fact, when I went to a world-renowned C-word hospital in Boston, and they said, okay, so we're reinforcing that you need chemo, you need radiation, you need the surgery. This is what you're going to do. And I said, I'm not doing that. I'm doing the holistic program. This is what I'm doing over here. And they said, if you don't do what we say, you will die.
Oh my.
Yes.
Point blank. But you still said no, I'm going my way.
Yes. My 2-year-old self said, you can try to bully me all you want. You just made me feel stronger about what it is I'm going to do.
And we're about to learn more about it through the nutrition part. Pillar 1 is all about mastering your nutrition. So I'd like you to walk us through it. What did your food and nutrition habits look like before, the C word? And then how did they evolve once you became the health warrior we, know today?
Yes. So it's a great question because my whole identity, my whole life was really around perfection. Get the perfect degree, get it in the perfect time, get the perfect job. Everything was perfection. I worked on myself in terms of always working out. I had a history of eating disorders when I was younger, which is very common for high achievers and women, of course, although we see higher numbers in men now as well. Um, the perfection really drove me for everything I ever did. So my identity was around health and success. I was successful at everything I ever tried and everything I ever did. I went to the gym. I was never overweight. I never smoked. I didn't drink. I mean, we were not going to talk about early 20s, when you do certain things.
That's a
But
given.
I was always healthy. And my identity sort of revolved around health. So I ate normal things. I ate salads and chicken and sweet potatoes and very healthy things. I also ate a lot of sugar pre-C word, loved my snacks, loved my junk, but for the most part, ate very what I called healthy at the time. So the diagnosis comes and my holistic team says, well, hold on a second. What are you eating? Because that's going to change. My identity was shattered. It was a very interesting feeling of grief because, like I said, I had worked out. I was in the gym every single day for years and years and years. I was eating what I thought was quote unquote healthy. The no smoking, the no drinking, lived a very healthy lifestyle aside from stress, which we can talk about. But all of a sudden, wait a minute. If I'm this healthy person, I was the picture of health. If you looked at me physically, I looked like the perfect picture of health. And here I was with the C word. I wasn't eating at McDonald's. I wasn't eating fried food. I wasn't eating all of these other crazy things. So why did this happen? And how can this seemingly healthy lifestyle not be healthy at all? That's really the trick and the key.
No, I'm with you on that. A lot of people don't. They think they're eating healthy, like you say, and they're not. That's right. And turns out, a lot of these foods have issues and whatnot. And we will get more into that too. I wanted to go a step further now. Well, let's recap real quick. So what happened was you came from eating healthy anyway and going to the gym and living that healthy lifestyle of what you thought was, a lot better than everyone else, I'm sure. So then, the C word happens and your holistic team says, wait a minute, what are you really eating? And then kind of gave you a gut check or a reality check on what healthy really is or what's going on, which is a good segue to what I'm going to ask you next. I read your story and you detoxified everything. Diet, environment, skincare, even your cleaning supplies, right? Which is funny because I pay attention to that stuff too. So what were the weirdest or most unexpected things you had to give up that made you go, seriously? Even that has toxins?
Yes. Oh, that's a really good question. So I guess any food that is acidic. So of course, everything we put in our body has the spectrum of acidity and the pH, the scale. Either you're very acidic or you're
You're just
not.
at base, yeah.
Yes. So things like even egg whites. So egg whites, no. Dairy, off the list. All dairy, all beef, all pork, which I wasn't a pork eater anyway. All yeast, grain products, vinegar. Now, for me, And there's a lot of literature out there that says apple cider vinegar is great. It helps your pH. It helps you to be alkaline. It does all of these things. Every person's body is biophysically, physiologically different. The chemistry of each person's body is entirely different. So the beauty of the holistic approach is that what's good for you might be not good for me, and vice versa. So it's very much tailored. It's not this every square peg goes into every square hole. No, we're all different. There are different shapes and sizes, and your biochemistry is all different. So my anti-C word protocol might be different from someone else's anti-C word protocol. So for me, it was no eggs, no dairy, no beef, no pork, no yeast, no vinegar. Now, vinegar, as I said, there's a lot of research that says vinegar is a great alkaline product. But in some of the C word research, it's a fungal. And the C word is known to be an amalgamation of a lot of different things. It's sort of a syndrome in the holistic community. And fungus, parasites, but also emotional and psychological trauma and healing and the body's stress can all come together. And then there's a tipping point. And all of a sudden, the cells go rogue and they start acting a little funky. And here comes the C word. Something breaks the immune system. It could be prolonged stress. It could be stress and food. It could be stress and food and toxins. It could be past trauma. There's all sorts of things. And each person's C word and each person's reason is different. So for me, it was take out anything that he had on the list. I was only eating beans and chicken and lentils, so legumes, those kinds of things. No breads, no pastas made from flour, just protein pasta, things like that. Lots of green drinks, lots of green drinks. I was told to have one green drink per day with chlorophyll and all of these.
That's good advice for everybody.
I did 3 a day for a year and a half.
You did say you didn't do this. You did this.
At one point, he said to me, okay, you got to calm down. You got to relax. You can do a little less. We don't have to be crazy about this. Because there's some side effects to doing things that are good, that are too much. So I'll tell you, I had the greenest, movements every morning. Looked so beautiful. I was so proud of myself. I don't know if that's too much information here on your show.
This is called Keeping It Real. I mean, we're keeping it real.
I was so proud of every morning because what it really meant to me when I looked was the greener, the better, which meant I'm more alkaline. And therefore, in the alkaline environment, this nasty C word is going to be killed and go away, and there's going to be no more.
Awesome. No, there's something to be said about that, though. A lot of people, or the majority of people, and I was guilty of this in the past, not paying attention to yourself, your biologicals, right? What you put in and what comes out. Sorry, but it is what it is. I'm keeping it real. And there's just a lot to be said about all this. And I think that after this interview, people will be thinking twice about things and hopefully doing some research for themselves.
Yes.
Another thing I wanted to mention is, a lot of people hear vegan, holistic, or detox, and they think, I can't afford to live like that. So what do you say to the busy entrepreneur who's thinking, yeah, I love to eat clean, but Whole Foods doesn't take my excuses as payment?
Well, there are other sources, there are other places that you can get healthy food. But I will say this, if you don't pay for your health now, you're going to pay for it later down the road. It's going to cost you a lot more money, a lot more time. And if the health problem that you get given is going to cost you more money because you won't be able to work. So for me, I was still able to work. I did take some time off from one of the positions that I held at the time, just so that I could work on stress and those kinds of things. One of the major things, though, I just forgot to mention, and I think it's because Well, I can talk about that. But one of the major things that you have to stay away from, really anybody should stay away from, regardless of C word, regardless of anything, is sugar. Sugar of any kind, sweeteners of any kind, absolutely not. 0, 0, 0. Sugar feeds the C word. C word loves sugar, loves it.
Inflammation, all the bad things. Your gut doesn't like it. I mean, sugar's really evil. It tastes good, but it's evil.
It is. It's more addictive than cocaine. The research that they've done on sugar, and I'm sure you know this, I hope your listeners know this, they've done research, unfortunately, with animals, which I don't condone, but they will go for the sugar more than they will go for the cocaine.
Yes, I've heard that's
Yes.
right. It's it's just as addictive as screen time, but we won't get into that on this show here. We want you to watch.
Exactly.
Anyhow, so speaking of who's watching, if you are watching and wondering if this lifestyle is out of reach, hang tight, because Dr. Mia's got some real world tips coming up. She doesn't know it, but she does.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Dr. Mia, you're not just a survivor, you're a thriver, needless to say, right? So, but let's be real. The journey wasn't all sunshine and smoothie bowls. What were some of the mental or emotional shifts you had to make to stay committed to your nutrition path, especially when it felt isolating?
Sure. And it's very isolating. Our world is all around getting together, gathering. What food are we going to eat? Where are we going to go to eat? Family gatherings. There's always food. Everything is food, fuel, nutrition, whatever it might be. We're always eating. So when somebody tells you stay away from certain foods because they can create more C word or feed the current C word that you have, you start to see it almost as an enemy, especially with a history of eating disorders, right? So eating disorders and substance abuse addictions are very similar in that there's something that is I was going to say eating at us, but no pun intended, something that is bombarding us every day. Well, the difference is eating disorders and, say, a holistic approach to curing a disease, the enemy, so to speak, is something that can cure you and help you if it's the right food. So at the very beginning, I thought, holy moly, what am I going to eat? There was a very large education period. Now, I have the degrees to prove it. I've got, I've got the student loans to prove all of the formal education I've ever had. What I wasn't prepared for was the massive amount of education that I was going to go through during this process. Because feeling isolated, feeling fearful of food, certain food, trying to find the right food, figuring out what I could eat and making new recipes and those kinds of things. That was an education that I had never prepared for and never thought I would get through. It was very daunting at first. Absolutely.
I could imagine. Well, I could imagine to some extent with new clients in the nutrition space coming in, fitness space, never cook. They always get, takeout and just basic cooking skills they don't even have. I mean, you had to make really drastic changes. And that can affect somebody in a lot of ways, like you're saying, not just going out to eat in social situations like you were talking, but even at home, like you said, creating new recipes, right?
Yep. For a year and a half. Now, of course, I am the extreme. I everything is the extreme for me. But for a year and a half, I didn't smell, look at, or lick anything I was supposed to have. It was so extreme. Wow. I was petrified. And I did not want to put anything in my body that would harm me or make the situation worse in any way. Now, I was told, you have to do this for about 6 months, and then we'll see how you are. And I did it for a year and a half. Wow. Let me say, I was cancer-free in 3 months. 3 months of doing it.
You should have kind of led with that. Hold on, wait a second. In 3 months, 3 months of doing the holistic protocol. I mean, not like this, but like this. Yep. You're cancer free.
Gone. Blood work showed everything was gone. And if I had gone to the world renowned C-word hospital in Boston it would have been a year and a half of treatment of baldness, potential hair not growing back, sick, unable to work, and then the side effects from all of those horrible things as well. Now, let me say this. Anybody who has chosen that route, it's not a judgment toward that choice. But there are other choices, and I chose a different route. So that resonated for me and my body and my life. For those that choose the traditional route, that's perfectly fine. You have to be good with what you choose.
Yeah, I think that's the secret there. And you also mentioned how pretty much we're our own petri dish, if you will. So what works for you might not work for someone else, and so forth. It's so customized or what have you. It's not cookie cutter. So yeah, but ultimately, what you just said really is you have to be okay with your choice. Period.
Absolutely, absolutely. I never, ever, ever had a doubt about my choice. It, as I said, it resonated with me. It's about building the immune system, creating an environment where the C word cannot exist, creating an immune system that is no longer, it has poked holes in it from whatever toxins I put in my body, whatever stress I had, endured. The immune system had broken down and allowed some cells to go rogue and decide they were going to do their own thing. My job was to build up the immune system through food and detoxifying my entire life, which, by the way, includes people.
And mental. Oh, yes. Good point. Hey, people's energy. Some people you want to stay away from their energy because energy is catchy, good or bad. And other people that have good energy, like yourself, we want to be close to. No, you're right. So time for some myth busting.
Myth busting.
I'm gonna throw out a nutrition myth, and you hit me back with fact, fiction, or for Instagram only. You ready? Fact, fiction, or for Instagram only. All right, here's the first one. If it's organic, it's healthy.
False.
Okay. Fiction. All right. And then that's I get that because there's organic candy, right? And what does candy have? Sugar. Hey, it might not be the chemical high fructose corn syrup made in the lab somewhere with arsenic, and we won't go there. But yeah, even if it's cane sugar, like from the plant, still, no, that's not healthy. So if it's organic, it's healthy. Thanks for that. That's fiction. All right, next one. Fact, fiction, or for Instagram only. You can't get enough protein on a vegan diet.
Fiction.
That's right. Yeah, fiction. Of course you can. You just got to pick the correct combination so you get complete the whole spectrum of amino acids to make a complete protein and all that.
I will say, though, if I may, can I challenge you?
Please.
I personally think, based upon my training in nutrition and also the contact that I've had with the holistic community, I've been told this and I've seen it in action. Vegans are depleted in some ways. Yes.
I agree with that. And a vegan protein it's not as bioavailable as other proteins like whey, for instance, or egg or that sort, or even meats. And you get the whole micronutrient issue by not eating some meats, so you have to supplement. But see, if you guys, if you want to ever talk about that, or us to talk about that, or anybody to talk about it, let us know, and we'll put this on Keeping It Real. These are all good topics.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm getting off path here. So fact, fiction, or for Instagram only.
All right.
Detox teas equal detox body.
Fiction.
Yeah. I mean, really? We won't even talk about that one. Next. Fact, fiction, or for Instagram only. You need dairy for strong bones.
Fiction.
I know. And that's just silly. You don't need to drink your milk for strong bones. That was just oh my God, talk about marketing in our food system. We won't go there either. But that's false. Almonds are the new multivitamin.
I have an opinion about almonds. Yep.
I do too. And I would like to, do you mind if I answer this one?
Go ahead.
I say for Instagram only on that
Okay.
one. I do, because that's not right. But
Yeah.
you know what? On a side note, what is your thought on almonds anyway?
So almonds are great, except for so people like me who have trouble with nuts and seeds because of migraine issues. So some people, and I'm prone to migraines. I've had migraines since I was a little girl for a variety of reasons. And I notice food, weather, stress, those kinds of things can trigger a migraine. So every body has some weaknesses or some triggers that might trigger something. So everybody has something. You know, some people get sinus infections, some people get strep throat, some people get the stomach bug, some people get migraines. For me, I have found that nuts and seeds, they can actually be very acidic and trigger migraine reactions.
No bueno. No good.
Yeah.
I was gonna say for the people drinking almond milk, it's really almond juice, but they use the like all the I want to say not the good ones, like the funky ones, and like the just not the whole nice almonds. They're not using
Yeah.
those to make the milk.
Yes.
They're using the rejects, is what I guess what I wanted to say to make that. But enough about almonds today. So that's the end of that part of it. You know, some of those sounded like they came straight from a fitness influencer's vision board, just like that almond one. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So moving on, keeping it moving, as I like to say. You
Keeping
work
it moving.
as a life coach. You teach psychology. You
I
get
do.
the mindset stuff, obviously, right? And
Yes.
so why do you think so many people know what to eat? Well, okay, but still don't follow through. Is it really about the food, or is it about identity, self-worth, something deeper? Why don't people do what they need to do? Why don't people do what's required?
People don't do what's required of them because they don't have a why. If you don't have a strong enough why, my husband and I talk about this all the time, and you can apply this to any part of your life. If you don't have a strong enough why, you will not do it. You can watch all of the motivational videos in the morning every day that you want. You can walk around saying you're a positive person. If you don't have a positive, strong enough why for whatever it is, the thing it is you're doing, you are not going to do it.
No, I agree, and I can add to that too. You could say you do have that motivation, or that intrinsic motivation that you're talking about, right? It comes from within. It's meaningful is what I mean. It's not service level. So you have it, and you're going at it, you know, even type A, but you're doing it wrong. You don't have the right guidance, right? Like I know people that have gone to the gym for years. They look the same. They're not doing something right in the kitchen or at the gym, one or both, right? So it's like you want to, no matter how bad you want to get to Florida, if you're using a map to California, you ain't getting there, you know? So I wanted to piggyback that on top of that. So it does pay to stand on the shoulders of giants, or to have a guide anyway.
Sure.
Just saying, keeping it real.
Sure. You know, and this ties into so many things that have just triggered in my mind. In my psychology class, I actually created the Psychology of Eating Disorders class at the university that I teach at here in Massachusetts. And we cover something called orthorexia, which I'm sure you've heard of.
I have not.
Okay, so orthorexia was coined about 50 years ago or so by someone a psychiatrist, who was trying to compartmentalize a group of people that are very overly health conscious, so that it's debilitating to their social lives. So in other words, they won't go to this restaurant over here because the food isn't healthy enough, or they won't shop at this grocery store over here because they don't have enough healthy food. They will not eat certain things because it's not healthy enough. Well, fast forward now to 2025, and orthorexia is really a strange term now because people are becoming more health conscious. There's more non-GMO talk. There's more organic talk. There's more talk about sourcing our food, where we're getting it from, and things like that. So this condition that was coined many years ago about people that were obsessed with healthy eating, when in fact now we know healthy eating, the right healthy eating, can cure any disease on the planet if done right. And healthy eating is not an anomaly. It's not a terrible thing. It's a great thing. So we've sort of shifted, and I talk about that in my class. I have my students do a great assignment about orthorexia. I teach them about what it is, what it was called, and why it came about. And then I have them do sort of a survey of what's out there. What are you seeing in terms of commercials for food trends? What are you seeing in terms of what we're hearing and seeing about the non-GMOs, the organic stuff, all of that? And then how does that play into the original definition of orthorexia? And is being healthy or eating healthy too healthy? And who says it's dysfunctional? Says who?
Right. Society at the time, right? You sparked something in my thought process. So bodybuilding or going to the gym to build muscles, you know, and there weren't gyms, like there weren't Planet Fitnesses or franchises. They were like garages and key clubs, that sort of thing. And then over time, now look, you got Planet Fitness and everybody goes to the gym, where before it was taboo, if you will, or it was just different. It was a subculture, but now it's mainstream. Interesting how things happen.
It is interesting, the gym phenomenon too, because as we've had more gyms saturate the market, where you actually have people that are taking time to drive to a location to work out, as opposed to people working outside, working in the field, or just being more active. Now we have a short compartmentalized time where we're driving to a location, we're paying to go work out. Our society has never been bigger and never been more unhealthy.
Imagine that. So they're doing activities, but they're not doing them correctly. And a lot of it has to do with the food system and at home too, because what do they say? You can't out exercise a bad diet, right? Well, you know. So let's get practical now. For all our high achievers out there juggling life, business, and deadlines, that sounds like us. What are 3 simple nutrition habits they can start today? No PhD needed, no Whole Foods gold card, and no monk-like discipline.
Yep. Number 1, throw out anything that's in a box, anything that's been processed, gone, done. You're done with it.
Awesome.
Too many chemicals, terrible ingredients, processed anything, especially processed fake meat, no good.
Awesome. So that's number 1. Anything in a box, toss it out.
Yep. Number 2, anything with too much sugar. A little bit of honey is okay. There's some other sugars that are sometimes okay. Coconut sugar is okay. But if you're battling a health crisis, absolutely no sugar at all. But in general, reduce sugar as much as possible.
Awesome. Processed foods, reduce sugar. And number 3?
Number 3, you only get one body. You get one chance. That's it. If you don't value your health enough to cook your own foods or research your own foods, or just be healthy and make eating and nutrition about being alive and staying healthy, you will suffer from something later, sooner or later.
In my networking group this past week, last week, I should say, one of the things I said was being unfit really sucks. You know, I've been there, done that. And the things you need to do to be fit or become fit and even maintain fitness or whatever also suck. So my question to them was, what's your better suck? Because it all sucks.
If you don't rest and treat your body well and give it the proper nutrition in many ways, here and here, if you're not giving it proper nutrition, it will stop you. It will say to you at some point, I'm done, and here's what I'm going to give you, a lesson.
We're going to get more into that next here too. You at home, though, ready to try one? Are you going to try one? Type I'm in the comments, and let's hold each other accountable. Let me know what you're going to try out of those 3 things that Mia said. At least get rid of all the box stuff. Don't eat stuff in a box. Stay away from sugar, or a good amount of it. Stay away from it. And then number 3, pay attention to your health, what you put into your body, your movement, things like that. Just pay attention to health, because if you don't pay, you're going to pay someday. You're going to pay someday. I'd rather do it in small chunks than one big whack, if you know what I mean.
That's right. That's right.
So
we only get one of these temples. That's it.
Right? Just like land, God's not making anymore.
Nope.
Well, I guess
this is it.
Well, technically volcano in Hawaii, but anyway. So Mia, you're a realtor, a professor, a coach, a cancer conqueror, a sea conqueror. You wear a lot of hats, and probably a few headbands too.
Yeah.
How has your relationship with food and nutrition become a foundation for your success in business and in life?
Yes. Great. So after the 1.5 years of crazy, just incessant perfection, I sort of said, okay, well, wait a minute. I can have a few things in moderation here and there. But overall, the way I detoxed my life is the way that I live. So I stay away from plastics, stay away from plastic bottles as much as possible. The food itself has just become a lifestyle. That's really the key. And I know that you're a big proponent of this, right? Success
Absolutely.
and health comes with lifestyle, not torture, not imprisonment, not all of these crazy, fad, weird diets. It's about lifestyle. And if you make the focus of your life, the healthy, let me say it a different way. Make sure your head's healthy, your heart's healthy, and your body's healthy. Everything else falls into place. Being a workaholic is something that I realized through the C word journey is not a healthy thing. I was a workaholic my whole adult life, just achieving. I got my doctorate in 1.5 years. Nobody does that. And it was working full time at the time. And at the time it was, well, this is what I do. I work my butt off. I accomplish things that other people don't accomplish. And that made me feel good. It made me feel successful, like I was achieving something in life. But what was I sacrificing that I didn't know about? I was sacrificing health, because stress will kill you, or it will knock you off the head and say, we are done with this kind of lifestyle. Now, do I still overwork? Do I still work too much? Yes, but now I have the wherewithal to say, hold on a second, stop. And there are a few lessons that came out of the C word. And one was that it was this workaholic attitude, this perfectionistic attitude, this high achieving, go crazy. By the way, I can't stand the word grind culture. Nope.
You're grinding grind your gears. I had to say it.
Yep. Grinding yourself into the ground is not okay, and it's not acceptable. We need to have more, I think, rhetoric and talk and discussion and education about being healthy, being successful, but taking care of yourself. Self-care. Without self-care, you have nothing. You don't have success, because you don't have a healthy mind and body and spirit.
You can't with all that stress. Need that recovery.
Absolutely.
Got to recharge. All right. Final thought. If someone watching right now is in their own storm, maybe it's health, stress, burnout, or just feeling stuck, what's one thing you want them to walk away with today when it comes to nourishing not just your body, but the spirit?
Wow, that's a big thought. It's doable. It's absolutely doable. Anything you put your mind to, you can do. And when people say this was a daunting journey, this was too much, how did you do it? Oh my gosh, I can't do that. I can't meal prep. I don't have time for the gym. I don't this, I don't that. Negative talk will absolutely thwart your life, quell your dreams. It will kill you. Negative talk has to go. Has to go. Positivity, if there's something you want to achieve, if there's something that you want, you have to believe and think and say and pray, whatever it is you do for your self-talk and your thinking, you have to believe that you can do it, because in essence, you can. You can do anything you put your mind to, anything.
Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Who is that? Henry Ford?
Yes.
I love how you led with hope. You're like, it's doable.
It's totally
two
doable.
words, it's doable. I love it. That's great.
It's doable. Anything is doable.
Love it. So, Dr. Mia Holland, thank you. Your story, your strength, and your science-backed passion for wellness is exactly what the world needs more of. You've taken the hardest parts of your life and turned them into hope for others. There's that word again, hope.
Yeah.
How can we contact you directly?
Oh, well, let's see. Email. I can give you my email. I can put it in the chat.
Absolutely. And also the people that are watching, if you do want to get a hold of her, you know how to get a hold of me. So just get a hold of me and I'll get you right to her.
And I'm on social media as well. Yeah, you can find me there.
And
absolutely.
Your links will be up with this episode in the caption as well, so people can get a hold of you that way as well. So if you are watching this, just can get out of this video and go right there, and you can link right to her. All right. So thank you again for being here today. You are awesome. Again, thanks for having me. Superhero status. There you have it.
I love it. I'm going to get a t-shirt. I'm going to get a t-shirt.
That's great.
Thanks for having me. This is fantastic. Remember, everybody, you can do anything you put your mind to. Anything is doable.
I love it. Thank you. I was going to ask you if there was anything else that you wanted to say, but you said it. We're awesome. All right. I will see you on here again. Definitely. We will have you on. We could talk about mindset. We could talk about all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
You're my tribe.
All sorts of things.
You're my tribe.
Can't wait to come back.
All right, Mia. Thank you again. See you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Well, that just happened. Dr. Mia Holland didn't just drop gems. She dropped green smoothies, mindset shifts, and straight up truth bombs. If you're still sitting there thinking change isn't possible, rewind this episode and check it out again. Because what you just witnessed wasn't an interview. It was a masterclass in turning pain into power. Mia's story reminds us that health isn't a trend. It's a decision, a daily one, and sometimes a defiant one. So if today hit you in the gut, good. That means it's working. Until next time, keep it simple, keep it moving, and above all else, keep it real, especially when it comes to your fitness. That wraps up today's fitness success segment. Next Monday is week 2, so we'll be discussing Pillar 2, stress management, practical strategies for managing life's inevitable stressors. Want to join the conversation as a guest or have your questions featured on the next episode? Just drop a comment below, yes, even if you're watching the replay, and let us know. We'll make it happen. Now let's move on to the final segment for today. The Real Estate Roundup segment keeps you updated on the latest in the real estate world. Whether you're interested in residential or commercial, this segment's got you covered. I'll invite guest experts on to share insights and discuss the subjects that you want to hear more about. If you didn't already know, I'm with Jay Nuss Realty Group. We are a commercial real estate brokerage and consulting firm out of Braintree, Massachusetts, servicing all of Eastern Massachusetts. We specialize in commercial real estate transactions, including sales and leases. And we also consult on a variety of commercial real estate related matters, including but not limited to nonprofits, religious and otherwise, potentially environmentally compromised properties, and transit-oriented development. Other services include commercial lease audits, and if you or anyone you know owns a commercial property and wants to know what it's worth on the market, we can do a commercial broker opinion of value for you. If you or someone you know is in need of a commercial real estate professional, please contact us directly or comment under this video and we'll follow up with you. All right. We also work with residential real estate brokers. So if you're a residential agent or broker in need of commercial expertise, please don't hesitate to contact us for assistance. We love working with residential agents. What real estate topics spark your curiosity the most? Residential, commercial, or something completely different? I'd really appreciate it if you'd share your thoughts in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, your input is just as valuable. Your feedback will guide me in creating future content. Thank you for that. Keeping it moving. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Keeping It Real. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Every week, we'll dive into important topics that will help you grow with a mix of fun and practical advice, from nutrition habits to real estate, public speaking skills to networking strategies. This show is designed to inspire you, keep it real, and of course, keep it fun. Today, in the Core 4 of Networking segment, I shared information with you about 2 local networking events I'll be showing up to, one of which I'll be speaking at on the topic of how to network. Then in the public speaking segment of the show, from Stagefright to Spotlight, I interviewed a living, breathing definition of From Stagefright to Spotlight, Dr. Farzana Chohan. And I also shared how you can visit my next virtual Toastmaster meeting. In the fitness success segment, I interviewed Dr. Mia Holland, a health warrior, TEDx speaker, top producing realtor, cancer survivor by holistic means, and more. Then lastly, in the Real Estate Roundup segment, I told you about the services of my commercial real estate brokerage and consulting firm, Jay Nuss Realty Group. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a comment about what you enjoyed. And if you didn't, let me know about that too. All feedback is welcome. If you arrived after we started or missed any details, don't worry. You can always check out the replay. Before we end today's show, I have one last thing to share. Every show will end on a high note with a funny meme or video to keep you smiling. Please stand by for this week's funny moment.
So I live.
And can you believe I was muted the whole time? Thanks for joining me today. I can't wait to see you for more Keeping It Real. Be sure to leave your comments, share your thoughts, and don't hesitate to get involved. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and keep it real. See you next week on Monday, May 12th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I know everybody a go like. I know everybody a go like. Success don't come overnight. No matter no substance over hype.